Yes, we are back. Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody is doing well. Cover One crew, what is going on? I'm doing fabulous today because we're continuing in the lab, continuing down the scouting realm. Today we got a good one. We're talking Devon off the Achane. And okay, I need a better nickname, but he is legit off the chain good. He's one of my guys, and, I like to, put a staple of approval on a lot of these players coming into the NFL draft process, and Devon Achane is my guy. I've been a huge supporter of this man for a very long time, and just because, okay, we got the cons that he's undersized. Let's start right off the bat, but I am still a big supporter of what he can do. You cannot teach wheels, and he's got them for days. First, before we get started, as usual, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tell your friends, man. Let's grow this channel that much more. Help us grow it to 1,000 is the eventual goal here that we're trying to get the first step of. So do me that favor, hit that subscribe button. But what do you say we talk about Devon off the Achane? Because I love him. I think he's fabulous. When the early synopsis was that this running back class was extremely sound and loaded, we weren't lying. There is a lot of solid talent that could, potentially have decent to long-term careers in the NFL. Devon Achane is one of my guys, and I'm really rooting for him. I really hope he can latch on, find a role. Hopefully he gets on a squad that understands how to utilize this crazy speed, because that's exactly what he does have. But let's start with those measurables. He is 5'8", 188. He is only 21 years of age. He played in 28 contests, 369 attempts, 2,376 yards, a very good 6.4 on the average. It's a very good average for him. 21 rushing touchdowns. He adds 65 receptions, 550, just above 550 in receiving yards, 8.5 on the average, and another 5 receiving touchdowns to his resume statistically. Devon Achane is a producer. He is a guy that, especially this past year, I was really wondering how he was going to be able to take kind of the lead role in this Texas A&M Aggie backfield, and he did extremely well. I'm going to say it right off the bat. He carried the load in these pros. He carried the load when Isaiah Spiller was no longer there. Isaiah got drafted by those Los Angeles Chargers, and, Devon Achane, it was his backfield to lose, and he did extremely well this past season. He is lightning quick and fast breakaway wheels. The accelerators are on point, and everything about his game is predicated upon that world-class speed, which he does have. He could be one of the fastest, if not the fastest, obviously 40 times the side, but if you're talking just tape speed, what the eye test tells you, he could be one of the fastest running backs in this entire draft class. No kidding about that. World-class jets, and he is going to take, if he gets any room, he's off to the races. He's going to make a house call. The stop-start speed is great in this man. There is no loss of momentum. He does, make a cut, and he stops, and he plants. He makes a cut and a move, and then the accelerators are just bam, bam. He's off to the races once again. Like I said, his game is completely predicated upon his speed and his wheels. It's what makes him special, what makes him one of these players that we can say, he could potentially be a very good, capable NFL running back. I know a lot of people say, so what? A lot of players have a lot of speed, but Devon Achane is this good, and he does add other positives to his game, that the speed isn't just what he's solely relying on. He is slippery on point of contact, surprisingly tough to bring down. When you watch his film, he's not going to bowl anybody over. That's not what I'm saying, but he's able to, slip tackles rather easily, and it was a surprise to me because I've watched so many Texas A&M contests, but when you actually go back in and you start dissecting the film, you start to remember, wow, he was actually able to evade and slip tackles like nobody's business. He is very good in that sense. Very tough to bring down in the open field. If it is one-on-one, you could say if he's not lined up properly, he is, maybe like a 7.5 out of 10. He's going to break that tackle, at least with a slippery movement for sure. Strength is just fine for his size. He's not a bully. He's not anything that you're going to say, put him on the goal line, and score touchdowns. You're not going to say that about a Devon Achane, but he does have enough strength where he can at least challenge defenders. Bigger defenders, probably not, but he can at least challenge some of these defenders when he is running full speed, and I think that's kind of what it is. It's like, if you're in a car accident, you're both going 100 miles per hour, or 100 miles per hour, and someone's going 20 miles per hour, the 100 is going to win. That's kind of what you get out of an Achane. The speed will dictate some of that strength at times where he does lower the shoulder, and he can at least gain a few more yards, but again, it's not part of his game. Strength is just definitely fine. It's not great, it's not elite, and it's not piss poor, but it is good enough in in my opinion. Vision in between the tackles is very good, and this is a very big positive. When we talk about speed backs, we typically say they go outside. They cannot go up the middle, especially guys at his stature of 5'8", 188. You got to understand it, okay? He can actually do it very well through the tackles. It was kind of the concern we had with Reggie Bush coming out of college football, where he had the wheels, he had the juke abilities for days, but he really couldn't run in between the tackles very well until he probably got to Miami and then subsequently Detroit, and that's where he kind of figured out how to get through the line of scrimmage and in between the tackles. But I think Achane is definitely put together in a sense that this won't limit him in the pros. It's going to be hit and miss at times for sure. I'm not saying it's 100% that he's going to be able to find the open lanes in between the tackles, but the vision is sound for me to say it is very good. Very good patience on the stutter step. I like this about my ball carriers a lot. And my standard always is going to be Le'Veon Bell when it comes to the recent age of a patient runner. He was so good and talented, Lev was, with his patient steps, and then he could find the hole and then just burst through it, snap the gap, and he's through it. Achane is, I don't want to say similar to a Le'Veon Bell in that sense, but he does possess a very good patient step where he will wait for those tackles and the gaps to open up, and then he's going to try to, find some room through the lane. So he does that very well. It's definitely not a hindrance in his game. I think it's a positive for sure. Very good lateral movements. Jump cuts are fantastic. Is he really a Shady McCoy? No, probably not, but he is very good when he can make people miss with the one-cut steps, and then he could bounce it either way, in or out, and he's going to make defenders miss wherever he is on the field. He is very good in that respect, man. He is a great receiving back. He's got soft hands, so this will actually promote him that much more. So we're talking like a Jerick McKinnon style, right? Where Jerick McKinnon, again, he's still a free agent at this point. He's quite frustrated the fact that he's not getting many offers. But Devon Achane could be, a better type of Jerick McKinnon, where he is able to at least carry the rock 150 times with high regularity and be that extra piece in the backfield when you're talking about passing and receiving game. Achane does have this ability, and I think he will be a big priority in anybody's offense to get the ball into his hands, because that speed, a.k.a. like I said about Travis Etienne, dude can make a house call at any given moment because of that elite wheel skill set. Devon Achane is probably even better in this sense that if you get the ball in his hands, he finds a crease, he's off to the races. He could get you 6, no kidding, man. Carried the load in 2020, like I said, no spiller, very impressive. I did want to see how he was going to handle that, but he did very well. Yes, he did have a couple injuries. I'll touch that in the cons, but he did very well. Impressed me, no kidding, especially, with how lackluster Texas A&M was offensively this past year. I think Achane did more than enough to turn my head and say, yeah, I'm still a believer. Explosive punt returner. This is great news for an Achane, because if you want to try to, edge your way onto a roster, it's special teams. We all know this. And the fact that he can return punts and, have a hope in scoring touchdowns, or at least gaining, anywhere from 25 to 35 yards on any punt return, it's a definite positive for any offense, and he will likely start on the punt team, I would want to say. But Achane, to me, could eventually round out to being a great change of pace back with some third down appeal. As for those cons, we get it. He's an undersized back. I mean, 5'8", 188. It's not, dominating presence. If he was a 5'9", 5'10", 180, 195, then we'd be talking a different story. But at this point, he is undersized. And that's a, typical standard in this draft so far. There is a lot of gentlemen that are undersized, and can they perform? So this draft will either be a really big bust in a lot of cases, or we're going to see some of this draft class be, the outliers and changing the athletic scouting department and how we view some of these players. But I do believe the NFL has changed enough that there is a home for players with extreme ability that are undersized, and Devon Achane should be one of these guys as well. He can dance a little too much behind the line. That is a problem. He is, looking for the hole maybe a little too long, and he continues to dance, or he's trying to find the cutback lane, not there, continues to dance, and then he's, tackled behind the line of scrimmage. You got to cut that out of the game, and that's a youth trait, I do believe, that can be coached out of a lot of these running backs. We said that a lot about Saquon Barkley when he was coming out of Penn State, where he danced too much behind the line of scrimmage, took way too many yards for loss, and he figured that out, obviously, in the NFL. NFL. I think Achane, he's obviously not Saquon Barkley, but I think Achane is good enough that he'll be able to learn and understand this. He's a quiet guy, man, and he learns, he studies, so he's one of these guys that's one of my favorites. I love players who just show it on the field. They don't talk a lot, but they show it on the field. I'm a huge fan of players like that. He could stand to gain a little more muscle, obviously, get him into the 195, almost a 200 range. I think that's prime. If he gets into like the 198, 199, 200, 201, I think that's going to be a very good body frame for an Achane, and I'm not really concerned that he's going to lose anything on the wheels whatsoever. You're talking, what, 12 pounds in an NFL weight room and a meal plan? There's no kidding, man. 200 pounds at 5'8" is going to be a decently stout. He's stout enough as it is right now. I get it. He is undersized, but he does have already a stout build. He can make that even that much better with an NFL training plan, and I think it will give him all the benefits, no kidding, to at least try and be a 3-down type of running back in the league. It's going to be very difficult for him. I don't know if he'll ever get there, but at least he'll be able to at least compete for the services of a lot of carries. Pass pro issues, it's for lower leg leverage for me. So again, add some more muscle mass, understand how to plant when the blitzers are coming, because this is very important. If you can't pick up the blitzers to save your quarterback, it's going to be a big problem for head coaches, and they're going to pull you off and put you on the bench, and you're going to be bench warming for a long time. So definitely pass pro is something that he's got to work on in the NFL big time if he wants to remain on the field. Will he be limited to that change of pace back? It's very likely. And I mean, I don't foresee an Achane being a 3-down back in this league, but there is a lot of great potential, kind of like we're seeing from a James Cook. Is James Cook going to be a 3-down back in this league? I still have belief that he could potentially be that. However, they are, maybe just give them majority of the touches, but you're going to spell them out on the goal line, short yardage situations. And I think that's where Devon Achane is going to be home in the NFL, kind of like we're seeing with a James Cook. I think Achane could be in that same type of realm that we see for Cook right now with the Buffalo Bills. I mean, he dealt with some ankle and foot injuries, nothing overly concerning, but I mean, you also got to take into account when guys are this fast and they have all this athletic ability, the soft tissue injuries definitely creep up as they go, so you got to be careful with that. Look at Kadarius Toney, man. I told everybody if you watched my other channel, I mean, I told everybody, you got to watch out for Toney. He's got talent for days, but I mean, he's going to spend a lot of time in that medical room, hence why, look what he is right now. He spends a lot of time with the medical doctors and the staff because he's pulling his hamstring basically every game. Could this be Achane as well? He's been relatively good with the soft tissue injuries. The foot and the ankle was the biggest problem that he did have, where he had to sit out some time. But the soft tissue injury is always scary for a guy who runs a 4.36 or whatever he ran. It's definitely, those things will cramp up and pull on him, no kidding. But for grading purposes, I'm very impressed. And I mean, I went back and I studied all his film that I could get my hands on, and he did not disappoint me whatsoever. 75.1% is a Devon Achane, Texas A&M Aggie. I think he is, being underrated right now quite a bit. I got him still as my number 5 ranked running back in this entire draft class because I do believe he is quite put together in a sense that he could be a great benefit to an NFL offense. Maybe not right away. I'll put the caveat there, but I still believe he could be a very good piece for any offense looking to add more speed, add a playmaker, get the ball in his hands, make some plays. Achane could definitely be that guy for you. I'm rooting for him because he is definitely one of my guys. So there you have it, that is Devon off the Achane, and I'll promise I'll get a new nickname for this man because that's pretty lame, but whatever. I still like his game that much. I think he is very good, very talented, but his NFL future is definitely going to be determined on where he's drafted, who drafts him, how they're going to use him, and scheme dependent. No kidding. He's got to have all those stars aligned for him to see NFL success, but I do believe the speed is always the killer in the NFL. You get the ball in this man's hands, he is going to make plays. And I really hope that he gets on a roster that can utilize him. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments. What do you think of Achane? Do you like his game? Is he too small for you? Throw him in the comments. We can talk it out, but we'll see you next time. I am out.